Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just want to start this video by quickly saying thank you to everyone who liked my last video, subscribed to me, left any sort of positive comment, so thank you very much. This week I was trying to film like a vlog for my second video, but it just didn't really like flow well. I think because obviously I'm very new to this, I wasn't that like confident in front of the camera and stuff, so I thought I'd do a Q&A. Just because there's like a little bit more to talk about when I'm like answering your questions and stuff. So if you don't know me already, my name's Daisy. I've got a 4-month-old baby called Arlo. And yeah, I'm just kind of trying to do it in like chronological order. I'm on pregnancy, having a baby, breastfeeding, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy. If you do, give it a like and please subscribe if you don't already do so. Okay, so I'm just going to dive in with the questions. So the first question is, how did you find out you were pregnant? Did you just know? So I found out when I was 6 weeks pregnant. I wasn't really showing any signs, really. And what is really weird about this is my friend Hannah had a dream that I was pregnant. And I was late on my period anyway. And she obviously knew that. But she texted me and said, Daisy, if you come on your period, I had a dream last night that you were pregnant, you need to do a test and find out. So I literally bought a test that day, did it, and I had like a really faint line, and I googled it, and it said that when you have like a faint line, it means that you can be like quite early on in your pregnancy. So I then bought one of the like clear blue ones that tell you how many weeks you were, and it said 3 weeks plus, so I obviously knew I was a little bit further along than that. So yeah, that is how I originally found out. And then the next question is, how did you tell Charlie that you were pregnant? So with Charlie, I told him in the most boring way possible. I was actually at home seeing family, and he was back in Kent as well seeing family. I took a picture of the pregnancy test and sent it to him. So that's how he found out, which looking back on it is like a really boring way of finding out. I wish I like did it in some massive gesture. But yeah. Do you miss your bump and do you miss being pregnant? I do miss my bump. I missed it mostly for the first like 2 months. I think it's because you go like 9 or 10 months wearing certain clothes to kind of accommodate your bump. The weirdest thing then is then trying to find clothes that suit you just after you have a baby. So all your clothes don't look as nice as they did when you had the bump, because I used to wear like nice tighted dresses, which looked nice around the bump. And then after pregnancy, you don't really want to be wearing anything tight because it doesn't look that great. The next question was, how was your pregnancy? I was actually really lucky, and I had a really good pregnancy. So I'm really thankful for that. I didn't have any sickness. I didn't really have any of the bad like side effects and stuff from it, which I'm really lucky. What cravings did you get when pregnant? So I should have actually mentioned this in the first question. So before I found out I was pregnant, the only like telltale sign was that I kept eating cheese. And I'm looking back on it now, that was obviously a craving, but it would be like cheese strings, Baby Bells, Dairy Dunkers. In the end, I like overdid it with the Dairy Dunkers, and then the thought of them made me feel absolutely sick. So that was like the main craving. I used to really like apples from a fridge because they were like nice and cold and crunchy. I still like them now actually. Did you want to find out the gender? So originally me and Charlie had planned not to find out, and we wanted it to be a complete surprise. And then we went for our gender scan, still with the intention of not finding out. And then the guy doing the scan asked us, and we were like, oh no, like we want to keep it a surprise, please. And then I saw the look on Charlie's face. He really wanted to find out. And so he asked, he was like, oh, what, so you know already, you know your gender? And the guy was like, yeah. So I think knowing that we could so easily find out, we caved in and found out in the end, and we obviously found out that we were having a boy. And the last pregnancy related question is, did you like being pregnant? And the answer is yes. Like I said, I had a really nice pregnancy, and it is obviously just like a really nice experience. The next questions I've got are more baby related. So how old were you when you had Arlo? I can't even remember. So I was 22 when I had Arlo. I'm 23 now, so yeah, I was 22 when I had Arlo. Next question is, what would be your advice to somebody who is about to have a baby? So my answer to that question would be just enjoy every second of your pregnancy and rest as much as you can when you're pregnant. I don't think I really rest that much. I think I was like too busy like doing jobs and stuff. But I'd definitely say make the most of being pregnant, get your sleep in, and definitely in the last like 2 or 3 weeks before your due date, rest as much as you can. Look at it as your body like preparing for the labour and stuff like that, because that is something I wish I did more of. So the next question is, how did you pick Arlo's name? So we hadn't really decided on a name. We had a couple of different names that we quite liked, which I think we might use for like future babies, fingers crossed, hopefully, if we're lucky enough to have more. But in August, me and Charlie went camping in Cornwall, and I remember this family that were camping next door to us, and they had a little boy. He must have been like 2 or 3, and his name was Arlo, and he was blonde, he was really cute, and he was quite naughty, like really cheeky. And all we heard for like the whole camping trip was his mum and dad shouting at him and like shouting the name Arlo and stuff, which sounds really weird because it made me think that I just think of the name in like a negative way, but I just really liked the sound of the name and thought it was really cute. So that was how I first heard of the name, because I hadn't heard of the name before that. It's a bit of an uncommon one. Me and Charlie made a bet when I was pregnant that if it was a girl, I'd get a final say in the name, and if it was a boy, he'd get the final say in the name. And whilst I was in labour, obviously with Charlie seeing how much like pain I was in and stuff, he said that I could have the final say, which I was obviously quite happy about. But I just feel like I would have had the final say anyway after going through all of that. The next question is, how did you find labour? What pain relief did you have? Labour was all right. It was about 16 or 20 hours, so it was like a middle length one. But it went okay. It was a bit stressful obviously towards the end. I don't know, like the whole situation is just a bit stressful really, but overall it was okay. The pain relief I had was codeine and gas and air. By the end of it, I'd left it too late to have anything like an epidural or anything like that, which I don't know. I got through it without it, so I probably would have been fine. When do you plan on having more babies, and how many do you want? So with me and my sister, there's about 2.5 years between us, and with Charlie and his brother, there's about 2 years between them as well. And we both really like being so close to our siblings, so ideally I'd kind of want the same for Arlo, so anywhere between like 2 and 3 years I think would be nice. Oh, and how many do you want? I don't know. I don't really know. I know we definitely want like a big family. I think it would be really nice for Arlo to have lots of little brothers and sisters. So I suppose you just have to see how lucky you get, and if you're obviously able to have more. I quite like the idea of having lots. I like, now that I've had one, I just want to keep having them. Next question is, what is the most difficult part about having a baby? I'd say the first 2 weeks after labour is probably the hardest, just because you're kind of like recovering from the labour. Like your body, I think the thing I didn't realise is your body goes through such a massive trauma giving birth that you obviously need to recover from that. Like it takes so much energy, and I honestly think for like the first 2 weeks you're just pure exhausted. So that was probably the hardest bit. And just adjusting to not having enough sleep, things like that. You're just adjusting to like a whole new life really. And the last set of questions are about motherhood. So, is being a mum hard? I wouldn't say hard. I'd say some of it is obviously challenging, but hard is probably not the right word to explain it, because what you put in, you get back. Did you always plan / hope to be a youngish mum? I definitely wanted to have babies within my 20s. And I think when I first fell pregnant, I thought I was having him way too soon. I was in my final year of uni when I fell pregnant, so it was obviously a big shock. But looking back on it now, I'm actually quite glad that it's happened at this age. What's the biggest difference you have found since having a baby? Your whole life basically just changes. It completely changes. I feel like I went from one extreme to the other because I was in my final year of uni. So that was probably the biggest change, just adapting to student life to then mum life is obviously a massive change. Next question is, how has becoming a mum changed you? I guess becoming a mum, you just change naturally. For me, it came naturally. I can obviously understand that for some people it doesn't come so naturally. For those of you that don't know, me and Charlie actually have a dog called Willow. I'd say that honestly, having a dog has actually prepared me for motherhood. And I remember when we first got Willow, I took her to the vets for her jabs, and the vet there actually said we always recommend any new couple or any couple thinking about having a baby to get a dog first, because it teaches you like the principles of parenthood, I guess. And honestly, I'd swear by that advice. And the next question I have is, does breastfeeding hurt? Not really, no. A lot of people ask like, can you feel it? But you don't really feel it. Well, I don't anyway. For the first little bit, it probably did, because you're obviously getting used to it. But other than that, I don't think it hurts. What is the most challenging thing about breastfeeding? The most challenging thing is probably the tiredness. So I suppose if you bottle feed, your partner or any other family member can obviously help out with feeding, so you can rest more. But where I breastfed, I had to obviously do all the feeds, which I'm just used to it now. So the last question is, what would you be doing now if you didn't have Arlo? Early on from when we first met, we decided that we'd go travelling together. We decided that we'd go in the January after leaving uni, which would have been the January just gone. Looking back on it now, obviously everything happens for a reason. Had we have gone travelling, we would have had to come home because of obviously what's going on right now. But yeah, that is what we'd be doing had we not had Arlo. I got asked some general life questions and things like that, but I think I'm going to save that for a different Q&A, just so this one's more sort of pregnancy, baby related. So thank you again if you've made it this far in the video and me bambling on. I thank you for everyone who has watched. If you've made it this far, please subscribe.